What's up, everybody? You know how we get down over here on this channel. We talk about the new methods. We talk about the new scams. We talk about the new bank scams, the dark world, the dark web. It's a lot of things that's going on in this world. It's a lot of things that people ask me on a day-to-day basis. And on this channel, this is where we get a chance to talk about it. All right, so we talk about a lot of different methods. We talk about a lot of different scams. We talk a lot of different fraud, a lot of different hacker methods. And a lot of people have been asking me about the drip method. Everybody want to get the designer clothes. Everybody want free clothes. Everybody want to figure out how to do that method. So today's method I'm gonna basically be dropping gems on the drip method. All right, the designer clothes method. So when it comes to designer clothes, a lot of people first of all, when people buy designer clothes, they're basically utilizing stolen debit or credit cards. And as the world evolves, the scams and the methods evolve. So a lot of people are starting to learn and understand and figure out that there's more money in the business world, vice versa, the personal world. There are more people that have money to leverage when it comes to businesses, as far as credit cards, loans, credit cards, lines of credit, etc., etc. So when you get a business credit card or a business loan or a business line of credit, you can get anywhere within the millions of dollars. When you get personal loans, credit cards, or lines of credit, you're not getting nowhere near that amount of money that you think that you can get on the same amount. You're not getting millions on the personal side. So when it comes to money, there's more money being given on the business side. So people, fraudsters or scammers are starting to learn that. And then when it comes to buying clothes, they're buying it with stolen credit and debit cards. Now, people are getting more into the business world and the business side to say, okay, let's figure out where we can get business credentials because it's going to be easier because businesses have credit cards for different things and most businesses have high limit credit cards. So there are places on the dark web that will basically sell business accounts and have different limits on them. And there are places on the dark web that might sell business credit cards, business debit cards, business account logs, all different type of things that deal with businesses because businesses generate more money and scammers and fraudsters are starting to really you basically understand that. So there's a site and a place on the dark web that will basically a scammer or a fraudster or they charge for people to be able to buy different accounts. And when they buy that account basically has a quote unquote limit. And on that site, you can basically go to different places like Saks Fifth, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, all these different designer. Well, basically any clothing store that on that site. So basically, these people who created this site have created basically shortcuts to different sites that they have already programmed to be able to use the cards or the accounts that they have. Because what they're doing is they're getting these business debit and credit cards and they're forging and they're basically hacking the cookies and the DNSs on them and the configurations, and then they're taking these business credit and debit cards and they're basically they're either buying credit, or they're basically just saying, okay, this card has this amount of money on it, so we're going to, let's say somebody spent $1,000 on a card, they might have a $10,000 credit limit to spend at a Gucci or Louis or Saks Fifth or Nisha Market because these are the sites that they have tested that has been able for the scammer and the fraudster to be able to use. So there's a site on the dark web called saxdrip.dark. Saxdrip.dark. Now, like I tell you guys all the time, dark websites are not www.blah.blah.blah.com. No, they're long encrypted addresses that look like Bitcoin addresses with .in at the end. So a lot of times People always ask me, what's the site for this? What's the da, da, da. You cannot post or promote dark websites on the clear net. So that's why a lot of times people have a hard time finding dark websites, and when they do find sites, they don't know if it's real or not because you can't promote dark websites, onion sites on the clear net. So it makes it hard for people to be able to find sites that are actually legit. And a lot of people don't understand that just because it's on the dark web doesn't mean that it's legit. And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people think just because they're buying something off the dark web that they could just go about their day and use it like nothing ever happened, or it's not stolen information. And that's what's getting a lot of people jammed up because a lot of people buy these stolen credentials, cards, credit cards, identities, and they go about it as if they could just use it like it's not stolen or anything, and this person isn't going to be alerted. And that's the problem. So there are many sites on the dark web. There are a lot of fraud GPT sites on the dark web that are starting to pop up, and these fraud GPT sites are basically GPT sites that are jailbroken. And a lot of people don't understand that when it comes to technology, technology might be the most interesting, the most powerful thing that mankind has created. Because without technology, everything that we utilize on a daily basis, websites, methods, phones, live streams, tools for this stuff, it wouldn't exist and it wouldn't work for us. So technology might be one of the might be the strongest, the most utilized tool in the world because technology allows us to do a lot of different things that we wouldn't expect us to do. So technology, it works with cookies and DNSs and HTTPs, configurations, IP address, socks and proxies. All these things surround technology, and if you get certain technology right, you can basically control the technology. So people are starting to understand that, and people are starting to say, okay, we got this information, we got these credentials. How can we utilize this information and credentials to be able to generate some type of revenue? And they're learning about these different type of things. They're learning about debit and credit cards. They're learning about accounts. They're learning these things, and they're starting to find the loopholes in these things that's allowing people to generate methods and do a lot of different things. So a lot of people are like I said, the dark web and the dark web has elevated. It's evolved. It's not just oh you buy this card, or you buy this, and you go on this side or that side and you try to know. It has evolved to where these scammers are creating have sites where they have already did the hard part for people. Meaning that they already did this configuration, this IP address, this and this and that. And all you have to do is buy this account and you can pick on whatever accounts that they have on that site and utilize that site to buy clothes, to buy the drip, to buy all these different designer things. And people are starting to understand that. People are starting to find these sites, and people are starting to utilize these sites. And the dark web is getting younger and younger and younger, with different people coming from different gangs, Xbox, PlayStation, PCs, being on the computer, being on these networks for different people, older people who are not right in the mind, is now guiding this young man or this young woman into getting this information, stealing this information, buying this, buying that, going on the dark web, selling this, selling that. And once they do it and they are doing and receiving something that they want, they're gonna figure out how to do it again and again and again, and they're gonna love it. They're gonna keep doing it again and again and again and again. So it's just all about understanding what's going on out here in the world. People gotta understand this is not 2020. This is not 2019, 18. This is 2026. 2018 was almost a decade ago. And technology evolves every day. And a lot of people are so green. A lot of people are so silly minded. A lot of dumb people out there in the world that don't understand that these things is being presented to the people in the world. Cash out glitches, cash out lows, chime lows, Apple Pay lows, glitches, methods, ATM hacks and jackpots, and all these things are real. they stem from somewhere real. It's just all about where people are getting it from, what information, who is selling things, because then everybody thinks everything is fake, but want to go try it. It's like there are people like, oh, that's fake, but they'll go spend 200 here and 300 there to try something, and then like people are crazy in this world. Like people understand technology allows all of these things to be possible. Technology allowed a Cash App to be created, a Venmo, a Zelle, a PayPal, an Apple Pay, a Google Pay, all these different things technology allowed it to do. And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people don't understand how serious technology is in the world. A lot of people don't understand that technology can do a lot of different things, and technology is doing a lot of different things that's getting a lot of people and a lot of different people rich. So a lot of people are starting, like I said, a lot of people are starting to figure out that business debit and credit cards and accounts are where most of the money is in that world. People are going to sites like Drip.dark and buying different accounts. People are buying different credit cards and debit cards, going changing the cookies on these sites in the system to be able to order cards. Like there's so many different new sites on the dark web. They're selling debit and credit cards, selling different information because of the GPT sites. The fraud GPT sites are allowing people to easily be able to type in, correct me a method for this, correct me some method for that, and it's correcting these new methods and getting information from all different type of places. Because you got to understand, these GPT sites are technology dealing with system and networks. Where are credit cards and debit card information stored and personal information in system databases and networks? So by these two things being in the same place, it's making it allowing it for certain, not all GPT fraud GPT sites, but there's a lot of fraud GPT sites out there that somebody could, or a fraudster or hacker could possibly type in, um, find me or give me 5 business debit cards or credit cards or things like that, bank logs or whatever. And this system will find that, and it will give and it'll produce this certain information. Let's put it like that. So technology, these methods are getting more advanced, more evolved, more elevated, and people are starting to use it. People are starting to benefit off of it. A lot of people are buying a lot of different designer drip off of these sites and selling them in stores. It's a lot going on when it comes to these different sites and different methods. And it's just all about being more safe, being more cautious, and being more aware. Because the information that these scammer fraudsters are utilizing are stolen information. Nobody wants to go through the process of having their business information stolen. So it's just all about being more safe, being more cautious, and being more aware. Because, like I said, it's a lot of money out there in the world, and people are going to find out every way how to get it. So, hey, live it, live life your way. So with that being said, there's a million different YouTube channels out here in the world. But hey, you decided to be here with me. I'll see you at the next method. Peace.